Welcome back, hunters, to another Evasion series video where I give you guys a rundown of how to dodge monsters and which attacks to counter. So today we're going to go over Valstrax, and he's definitely one of the most spectacular and wildly scary monsters in Monster Hunter Rise. Definitely one of my favorite hunts, and the main reason is because he keeps me on my toes. He's a very aggressive monster once you engage him, and his attacks are extremely quick. But once you learn the attack patterns and his cues, you'll feel so amazing when you can actually read his moves. So let's grab a wire bug and head on out. I'm going to start with a description before we get into the movesets. Valstrax's weak points and attack patterns change based on which part of his bodies are glowing with crimson fire. Regular mode is where neither his wings nor his head are glowing with crimson fire. His enraged state is a fully charged up state where his head burns with crimson fire. This mode actually changes his entire attack pattern. Now his wings can also glow or not in both states. If his wings have draconic energy, they'll be charged up and glowing, and they will deal more damage and also leave behind spots of draconic energy that will explode from a couple of attacks which we will discuss. His wings can be charged regardless if he's enraged or not, so just keep an eye out. Now his wings being charged don't change his attacks, but the direction they face do. He has different attacks for when his wings are actually tucked backwards versus pointed out in front. I'll point out specific attacks as we go through them in this video. Now while he charges up all his different states with simple roars, every once in a while he needs to recharge his dragon energy. Now these are special charge ups, and you'll notice it the moment he extends his head up and he pops his chest out and he glows furiously while inhaling air and building up energy. This is a very vulnerable period of time for Valstrax, and it is a window you have to look out for. If you deal enough damage to his chest during this period, the dragon energy in his heart will actually explode, dealing massive damage and toppling him over. Generally, throughout a hunt, every other time you see this opening, you should be able to get a knock if you get some damage in each instance. If you have a fully kitted endgame build though, it is possible to break the chest every time if you are in the right place and start damaging immediately. So now that we have an understanding of Valstrax, let's jump into the attacks. We're going to start with the wing attacks because they are the most common. One of the most basic wing attacks is just a wing slam. Now visually he will charge the booster on one wing, and then he'll leap into the air and slam the wing in front of him on you. Now because he leaps, this actually gives him the ability to cover quite a bit of distance even if you're a little bit away. So simply running away from him is not enough. It's actually better to just learn the specific variations that he has for this move. Now the first is when he's not enraged. He will follow up a simple claw smash with this attack, and that's it. It ends there. So claw attack and then wing smash. Again, this only occurs when he's not enraged. So if you see the claw attack, be ready for a wing smash, and then you can actually counter that attack because you know nothing is going to follow it. If his wings are charged up, however, they will still leave energy blasts on the ground that'll explode after 2 seconds. Now the explosions only occur on the sides of his wings, so if you counter exactly in the middle, you'll be safe. The second variation is when he is in enrage mode. He'll start off with the same claw attack and then one wing smash, but then he'll follow after that with a second wing smash from the other wing. Now to dodge this, the easy way is to just roll backwards to the opposite side of the wing that attacked you. Once he finishes the second attack, again you have a chance to damage the head, or you can counter that second wing attack again because you know, just like the first variation, it's the last move. The final variation of this move is actually a sneaky one. He'll actually be facing away from you, but he'll tilt his head back and kind of like peek where you're at, then raise his wing, and he'll do a full 180 spin to slam his wing onto you. Again, if he's enraged, he's going to do a follow-up attack with the other wing, so just be prepared for that. Now his second tucked backwards wing attack is the wing thrust, where he pushes his wings forward like a blade. There are 2 cues that you can look out for this. The more obvious one is that he'll take a step backwards on the side the blade is coming from. The second is while he takes this step back, the wing actually will charge its boosters ready to thrust at you. So the back step is the main cue, and it's a really quick attack, so it will take some time to learn how to practice and dodge this attack. Now following that first thrust, there are 2 variations to this attack. The first is he'll follow up the attack with the exact same attack from the other wing. Now the best way to dodge this is really to just stay in between directly in front of his head and then move slightly to the opposite side to dodge the wing attack. So whichever wing attacks you first, move to the opposite side, and then as the wing retracts, if you see the other wing charging up, move to the other side to dodge the second wing thrust. Now if you don't see the other wing charge up, or you suddenly hear a large metal screeching sound, he's doing the second variation of this thrust attack, which is a spin move with the same wing. This is an extremely dangerous attack that comes at you very quickly. He does a 450-degree spin with the same wing, damaging everything in his path. It's probably one of the hardest moves to dodge in Monster Hunter Rise in my opinion. It's very quick with very little iframes and very little safe space. But there is one nice little safe spot that I'm going to tell you guys about, and that's right under his head. But the big issue is that he moves while he spins, and this is the tricky part. So let's take a step back here. When he does that first wing thrust, you have to get close to his head. No matter which wing thrust variation he does, getting close to the head is a good idea. Once you're there, then you'll have to see if he's doing the spin move, you need to react to the direction that he's moving and dodge appropriately, making sure that you aim your dodge so that you land in the safe spot under his head. During this attack, the wing is going to spin outwards and around, but you need to focus on his body. If he's going left, you need to roll left. If he's going right, you need to go right. If you are close to his head by the time he does this, you only really need to roll once and you should be safe. But just be aware, just in case the environment, if there's something that he might slow down or might hit a wall, he might end up a little bit further or a little bit behind where you expect. So you might need to roll a little bit forward as well as left or right depending on his direction. The other thing to be aware of is that the opposite arm from the attacking wing is also a hitbox, so if you're too close to that arm while he's spinning, you will get hurt. This is an extremely difficult move to dodge. I took 2 days of practice before I barely started to learn how to dodge it, so don't get frustrated if you don't get it right away. In all honesty, because of Rise's janky hitboxes and environmental factors, you may still get hit with this attack even if you learn it. There are just some areas that Valstrax fights in that, he changes positions while spinning, or he's going to hit a wall, or there's going to be something there, or there's another monster in the area that he might be targeting. He might even go for your Palico or your Palamute. So there are a couple of factors here that are going to change his direction slightly, and this is an issue because it makes this attack very hard to predict. You might get hit by his leg then, you might get hit by the side of the wing because he's looking in a slightly different direction than what you expect. Realistically, in a hunt, you'll probably get hit by this attack 1 out of 5 times once you've learned how to dodge this skill appropriately. So I still recommend that you attempt to learn it because if you can dodge it even once, you get a good window to damage his head. Now a final note that I will make about this spin move is that it likes to go on the outside. It spins around him. So if you're on the outside of his blade and you're nowhere near the head, you have 2 options. Number 1, you can counter the move. Now since it's a 450-degree spin, he's going to do a circle and a quarter, so you have to time your counter based on your position and where that blade is going to end up. You might not get some return damage, but it's better than actually taking damage. Number 2 is to just roll back to safety. Roll as far away as you can because the spin attack is very wide. Now the next wing attack is pretty rare. This only occurs when his wings are facing forward. He does a quick swipe of one side. He doesn't do this too often, but when he does, he kind of gives a high-pitched squeal while raising the leg of the side he's going to swipe with. The safest area is literally going to the opposite wing or the opposite leg. The swipe doesn't reach the opposite side, and while the wings are glowing red, it's actually a great time to damage the wings as they are a weak spot. If you're too far out and this is impossible, you can counter this move since there is no follow-up attack, but you need to direct yourself towards the wing if your counter does not have a 360-degree protection. Now the final wing attack that I'm going to mention here is the double stomp attack, which is a mix of a claw and wing damage. He'll slam once with his claw in front of him, and then immediately lift himself up on his hind legs and slam with the same side wing. Now obviously the wing has a much bigger hit zone and area of damage, so being anywhere near that wing is extremely dangerous. It's also an instant knock attack and it'll send you flying backwards. He generally likes to do this twice when he's enraged, otherwise he just executes this move once in all other states. Now dodging this attack depends on your position. If you're close to his head, you're actually pretty safe from the wing attacks, you just need to dodge the front up claw attacks. If you're a little further away, you must wait to roll when the wings come down. His claw attack at the very start is very tricky and it'll trick a lot of hunters into rolling early, but the wing attack follows very quickly after, so you can get caught. Watch his claws. Whichever claw strikes first, you start moving to the opposite direction. He's gonna lift that claw again, but this time when the claw comes down, so does the wing. You execute your dodge roll right when that claw touches the ground a second time. If he's enraged, start immediately moving back to the opposite side since you know the next wing is going to attack. Alternatively, you could also counter the second wing because you know that's the end of the attack. However, if his wings are charged up, remember he's going to leave some dragon explosions again, so once again, if your counter does not have mobility, you might get blown up. Once the move is over, whether 1 hit or 2 hits, you can then attack and damage the wings. Now, I'm not going to lie, this method overall is a bit risky. Because of how small Rise iframes are, it's quite dangerous. If you want a safer method, dodge to the outside. You might not have as much opportunity to damage the wings, but hey, you're alive, and to be honest, it's not a huge chance for DPS anyway. It's just one of those better opportunities to actually hit the wings, especially for non-aerial weapons. Now those are the regular wing attacks, but he has some energy attacks which he can also do when his wings are pointed forward. You've already seen that if his wings are charged, he leaves behind dragon energy hotspots which explode, but sometimes he'll focus this energy into direct attacks. One of the first attacks is that at any point or distance from you, he can shoot a linear wave of dragon element balls at you. Pretty simple to dodge, they come in a straight line, so you just need to roll to one side. Now another quick energy blast that he'll do is he'll drop dragon explosions in a horizontal line beneath his head. If he's enraged, he'll actually add a second step to this by turning directly at you after the first blast and drop his wings in front of him and fire a same horizontal line of energy at you. This creates sort of almost a cross pattern of energy explosions on the ground, so you'll have to watch your step. The usual tell for any of these energy ball attacks is that the wings will charge out with white orbs inside of them. Now I'll be honest, these are really hard to see and I have actually relied on the audio cues a little bit more than the visual ones. For any of the energy attacks, he makes a screeching lightning sound, which is usually my indication to move out of the way. For the energy balls that he drops below his head, he'll quickly stand on his hind legs, which is your indication to just move out of the way. If he's enraged, he'll also do the energy blast in front of himself. Now if you can get to the head, that's actually a safe spot, but he does like to reposition really quickly before launching these, so more often than not, you'll probably have to back away just to reposition. Now sometimes he'll do a gymnast energy ball attack. I like to call it this because he looks like an Olympic gymnast where he runs a few meters, jumps in the air above you, does a majestic flip, and then drops bombs on the floor beneath him. Not a very hard one to dodge either. If you just go towards him to where he's standing, you'll be safe. This is kind of a troll attack in my opinion, where he rushes forward and attempts to scare you into backing up, at which point he'll jump over you and blast you from above. So don't have any fear, run straight at him and he'll jump right over you and blast behind you. The final energy attack is a way Valstrax releases all of his remaining wing energy, the iconic laser beam. Now this is a really cool move. Out of nowhere, he can just react really quickly and take a few steps back, he'll get on his hind legs, and that's your indication that this attack is coming. You can see his wings start to flare up as well. If you miss these cues, your next cue is that he'll visibly push both wings down in front of him and the charge is built up in his wings. You'll see a bunch of white energy in between his wings. You have about 1 second from when his wings land on the ground to when the laser beam actually blasts forward. Be aware that the blast also leaves a trail of dragon explosions once it finishes, so being anywhere near the blast is pretty dangerous. The laser blasts for about 2 seconds and then it moves into the sky to finish off. So the best way to dodge this attack is really to just roll forward to the side. His wings become a huge weak spot, so if you can get out of the blast radius, you have a chance to damage the wings from the outside. This move is also counterable for a few weapons, but again, because of the ground explosions, it makes it hard for certain weapons. For Insect Glaive or Dual Blaze, this is a pretty ideal attack to counter since we have some nice iframes in the air and we can move around. Now moving on here, his final attacks involve his rocket boosters. Valstrax frequently likes to show off his boosters, and I mean, if I were him too, I would too, they're damn cool. Now his first attack is really just a rocket dash. Anytime he does this, your indicators to look for are a few things. He'll back up quite a bit, while also tucking his head in and pulling his arms slightly back. It's kind of as if he's holding the ground ready to pull himself forward. While he does this, he also performs a high-pitched scream. That scream is your biggest indicator, and the second he stops screaming, he boosts off. If you're an audio learner, you'll actually get used to rolling right when the sound ends, because a few frames after that scream ends, he's right over you. The best way to really dodge this boost is literally just commit to one side. Walk one way, do not hesitate, and when he boosts off, just do a simple roll. If you hesitate to pick a direction, it's going to be too late, you're going to get hit. Now he can end this rocket dash in two ways. Either he finishes and lands and turns around, or he goes into the air and he hovers. His wings boost downward and he prepares for another attack. Now while he's in this airspace, he can actually do two more attacks. My recommendation for both of them is actually to get as close as possible to him while he's in the air. You want to be just under him but a little bit in front. So the first way he will end his aerial state is that he'll let out a large scream and then he'll boost straight towards you, smashing his right wing on your left. This dive attack will always target you wherever you are. Be aware as well, wherever he lands, he will also create dragon energy explosions, so do not back up into them. Now this is actually a very simple attack to dodge because he always uses his right wing to attack you. Dodging to your right or his left is always safe. Once you dodge to the right, you can take one step forward and then you can actually hit him in the head, and he's got quite a bit of time to actually damage the head since he takes a moment to readjust himself after landing. In terms of countering this move, it's only really good again for weapons that have some mobility to them. Insect glaive, dual blades. Not really ideal for any weapon that stays in one place because the energy bombs that he drops is going to blow you up. There is one variation to this move and I'm not entirely sure what causes it, but sometimes if you dodge early, he will actually stop himself from smashing into the ground because he notices he's going to miss you. Instead, what he'll do is that he'll land on the ground and slide past you. He'll do a Tokyo drift and turn himself 180 degrees and then shoot some ground energy explosions straight towards your direction. This is not a very ideal attack to counter and get some extra damage on, so you just kind of need to be aware and avoid the ground explosions and reset. The second attack is that he'll drop down more gently right in front of you, but as his wings comes down, they are charged with white orbs and he launches a dragon blast in front of him. It's actually a very similar attack to that horizontal blast that we talked about previously. If you are close enough, you can actually dodge quickly towards his head before the wings land. The second the wings land, the ground explodes in front of him. But if you're past the wings, you're actually clear from the blast and you can damage the head. Now something to note about these two aerial attacks, they are both very quick and the physical differences are actually very subtle. Before I mention those, let me talk about the audio cues, which are actually very distinct. The second attack has an energy blast, which again, if you remember, it has a lightning screeching sound. This sound plays before Valstrax makes any noise, so if you hear this, you know this attack is coming. Get as close as possible so that he lands right in front of you and you're clear from the wings. The dive smash doesn't have any other sounds, it just has his regular roar, and it doesn't matter where you are, he's gonna rocket right to your position, so you can just stay where you are and get ready to dodge. For the physical differences, you just need to look at the wings. If the wings stay pointed down when Valstrax starts to move, he's going to do the energy blast attack. If his wings tilt backwards, he's going to do the dive smash. Finally, we reach the final rocket attack, and it's actually his ultimate move, the ambush attack. Now this is the famous attack, which is really quite simple to dodge. He's going to go into the air and fly around, and at some point he does a boost to kind of prepare himself to land right on you. That's your indication that you have about 2 seconds before he lands and you can Superman dive by running backwards and jumping. If you do this after that change in boost, you'll be safe every time and you'll actually get up just in time and you can get some damage on the head. You can try to counter this move if you like. It's a little bit risky with basically no payout since he lands and he also moves quite a bit of a distance. Unless of course you're playing the almighty insect glaive. Additionally, when he lands, there is a large explosion in the area, so if your counter doesn't clear you or protect you with iframes from the second ground explosion, you're gonna get hit anyways. Again, I don't know all 14 weapons, so give it a shot. Let me know in the comments below if your weapon's counter works or not. And that's all the major things that you guys need to know to understand Valstrax. He's an amazing hunt. Definitely take your time to learn him well and you will have so much fun. He's definitely a monster that I could hunt time and time again. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like the video if this helped you. I already have a list of requests for future monsters in other videos, but if you have any requests, put them in the comments below. As usual, Stay safe out there, be happy, and keep hunting. Scott Sensei is out.